Hello and welcome to the Var Side Spurs Podcast. I'm Steve Worrell and today I am joined by Stace. How are we doing, Stace?
Yeah, I'm all good after my refreshing trip away down to the East Sussex countryside, which is on the South Downs. Yeah, I'm very refreshed. Apart from a little mouse that was in our ceiling chewing away at our wood.
Yeah. Sounds great. And there was no electricity or nothing down there, was it? It was all, you were isolated from the world.
It was isolated. You had to walk up to the main cabin, which was about a 20-minute walk. And that's where the only place to charge your phones. So it's to leave them up there and then go up there, check the scores. And obviously I got through the first half, and then the second half I had to charge my phone because it was dead.
Okay. So you watched the game on your phone then, did you?
Yeah, I watched the. Well, no, I didn't watch it. No. Where I was at this pub, the Gun Pub, their Wi-Fi is not working, and I only had H. I had no 4G, so I couldn't get any. So I was doing updates on live score and through Twitter.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Cool, nice one. All right, and also we were joined today by Jamie. How are we doing, Jamie?
Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, just pottering around as usual. Been getting fat over lockdown.
Only see that.
Fuck off. I only realised when I put my jeans on. Every week I've been putting my jeans on. First week they didn't fucking fit, and then gradually they've got tighter and tighter and tighter. So I've started walking really. Did nearly 9 miles yesterday on an empty stomach. Then made the mistake of settling into 3 big bottles of Styrofoam before I ate, and before you knew it, yeah, today was a bit of a disaster. But you know,
so you did 9 miles on your stomach. Is that what you're saying?
I did, yeah. I sort of.
Would it not have been quicker to have a walk, proper walk?
Yeah, I sort of belly flopped on the pavement all the way to Wandsworth and then back again. But I'm looking good for it now. I look hot.
Okay. You haven't been on the pod for quite a while, have you? So, you know, it's good to have you back. I'm hoping that you're going to illuminate us with a lot of your wisdom like you did the last time you were on the pod. Silence.
Yeah, my wisdom is
maybe not.
My wisdom is don't drink, kids. Don't do it.
Okay.
You get fat and you go to the toilet every 5 minutes.
Okay, and finally, welcome for the first time our special guest today, Lee Brown. How are you doing, Lee?
Good, thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me to be on here. It's my pod debut, not just here, anywhere, to be honest. So it was a privilege to be asked. So thank you, Steve. Yeah, I'm pumped after yesterday. I was fully expecting to go and sack that game off, go for a walk and come back later on to find out we've been humped about 5-0. I really did not expect us to deliver a decent result yesterday. So very happy. And as you saw yesterday, stuck on the Spurs top and took the dog for a walk straight afterwards. Yeah. And it's like nature's Viagra when you see everyone giving you dirty looks as you're walking up the street wearing that stuff. So, yeah, good. Yeah, all good.
He's a pod virgin, was us, so we'll handle you with care, Lee.
Yeah,
don't worry about that.
Please do.
So, I mean, obviously, Lee, you're here to help us with our new feature that we're unveiling today. So we'll come on to that in a little while. I mean, strangely enough, I was actually quite looking forward to the game, and there was another pod on Twitter that had put out were they the only people that were looking forward to the game, and there were a lot of people like, no, I'm not looking forward to it at all. And I said, well, actually, I am. I look forward to most games, certainly until we start, and then after that, then I realised that sometimes it was a regret to look forward to the game. But there you go. Anyway,
I think it's one of those games that you just sort of thought when you saw it start, there's a sort of energy about this that has been missing. So it kind of gave you hope. So I didn't go out for my walk. I'll say.
Okay. So I mean, we'll cover that in a minute. Before we kick off, obviously, just want to take a moment to remember Jack Charlton, who passed this week, and also send our condolences out to Serge Aurier on the death of his brother this morning, which is like terrible circumstances, really. And, like, you know, I can't imagine what he'd be going through. I understand, as usual, there's the usual Twitter idiots on making the most of the situation. I'm quite happy. I've not seen anything of that nature, but I think is something that you come to expect in this day and age. But I'm glad to see that the majority of people are supporting him. So, okay, right. So moving on, we've got 3 games to reflect on since the last time we were on air. So, first game was the Everton. We'll kind of rattle through Everton and Bournemouth as quick as we can, really. So we've got Everton first, 1-0 win, scrappy goal from Lo Celso deflection. Main talking point, obviously, of that game was Lloris and Sonny having a bit of a flare-up and a bit of a tear-up. So, Jamie, did you watch the match, and what did you think?
I certainly did. During the game, it obviously, as you said, it was absolutely scrappy as hell. And I think based on current performances, I think I was happy to win scrappy. It wasn't pretty at all. I liked the flare-up between Lloris and Sonny just at half-time there. At first take, I was like, ooh, what's going on here? But then actually, within a split second, I thought, well, actually, it's nice to actually see Lloris showing some bollocks for once and actually trying to dominate as a captain, try and take control of the situation and rev everybody up. Yeah. So, that was good to see, but it was scrappy, but it was a win. And at the end of the day, didn't really give a shit that it was scrappy. 3 points are 3 points. Yeah,
100%. That incident with Lloris and Sonny, it's weird because he seemed to be in a can't win situation because, prior to that and, for all of like the season and for most of last season as well, you get situations where all the fans are moaning about him and saying that he's not vocal enough and he doesn't lead enough. He's not commanding enough. And, you see Kane on the pitch shouting and directing at people and looking to cajole people and Dyer and everyone. When they see people doing that, they're like, oh yeah, my captain, Kane, my captain, or Dyer, my captain, or whatever. And that if that had been Kane or Dyer, that would have been the reaction. Whereas because it seemed to be because it was Lloris, all of a sudden, the initial reaction from most people was that he was out of order. So it's odd that you can go, no matter what happens, I think if you're going to they want to moan, they will. Stace?
It's funny.
To be honest, it was almost billed as the battle of the managerial dinosaurs, wasn't it, really? The old school managers. And there was a little bit of that kind of cat and mouse about it. But what I was really pleased to see was there was more of an attitude, more of a fight that when you saw those two have a go at each other, actually that filled me with a sense of right, they're starting to get it now. You've heard the messages being drip fed out because I think one of the things is with Pochettino, and I had sort of man love for him, but with Mourinho, he's really transparent. So that what he's been working on is this mentality of let's not be all each other's best mates. Yeah, you've got to build that sort of teamwork and that camaraderie, but equally you've got to have space there to dig each other out. Just to see them do it, funnily enough, I know some people have said they didn't want to see that on the pitch. I did. I wanted to know that actually my players, our players are starting to get it. And it was all, you could see it was all forgiven quite quickly afterwards, but it made you feel like these, they want to fight for the club. The game wise, it's a pile of wank on it, really. It was really not the best game you've ever seen in your life. It was a 1-0, but at the moment, you take it.
Yeah. I think so, and I think as both you and Jamie have said, at this juncture, really, you wanted 3 points. I think the thing, obviously, to pick out from that game and Bournemouth, which we're going to gloss over in a second, was that that both games were we didn't concede a goal, so that was positive, and you can tell obviously that from Mourinho's perspective, he's trying to build from the back, make us difficult to beat, and then build from there. So
you don't think that? Sorry, I was going to say, it feels like we're a bit of a paradox because even though that, the defence definitely seems to be a bit tighter and you can see that that's been worked on, we've shipped less goals, I still feel that when a ball's put in that we look, shaky. So,
no, I disagree. No, I think we look a lot. There were games, there were certainly games before the lockdown that whenever the ball was in our area, I thought we were going to concede. Whereas I do feel now that we look like we've got a little bit more structure to our defending and look a lot more solid. Davis looks quite confident in there and quite comfortable in there. Toby came in and did a good job, and Sanchez looked quite solid alongside him. And Dyer before his suspension and everything, I thought he looked quite solid as well. So. I think
they're starting to understand the roles better, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So, that was looking good. So, if we move on to Bournemouth, I didn't get to see that because I was at football training. So, it sounds like the turning point of the game for us. And this may touch on, where Mourinho's asking us to sort of look at our mentality, and that's something that we haven't actually quite managed to work on yet, is that we didn't get the penalty where we should have got the penalty, and didn't kick on from there. So I'm basically I'm relying on you guys now to, if you watch the game, to give me some anything positive rather than the negatives that I saw all over Twitter and people trying to tear each other apart and rip into the club and everything.
Personally, I felt it was a strange game. It's like it probably would have been the shortest highlights package ever because it was absolutely woeful game. But we were lucky to get out of that game without conceding. I mean, Callum Wilson had a disallowed goal because it came off Josh King's arm, and then Harry Wilson had a shot saved. It was a wonder save by Lloris, who, by the way, over the last few games has really impressed me. He's really stood up. But having said that, that was a stonewall penalty. How that was never given. I mean, that would have changed the game. That would have changed the game.
Given where they were in the, given where they were in the league in terms of lacking confidence and everything, to go a goal down so early and knowing that Mourinho would then have got the team just to try and control possession. I think that would be defining in that match. Jamie, what were your thoughts on the game itself?
Oh, it was an absolute shit show. It was an absolute shit show. We didn't have any. We didn't even have one shot on target. And I mean, I thought that was the reason why Daniel Levy sent Sonny off to South Korea for his military training to, so he can improve his shooting and train the rest of the team. But I heard that he's asked for a fucking refunds. He's absolutely livid. But generally, the Bournemouth game, it was woeful, absolutely bloody woeful.
Don't they shoot your blanks out there, though, Jamie?
Well, Levy's got it wrong again, hasn't he? Yeah. Clearly.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? We were shooting blanks, but so I mean that obviously that didn't fill us with a lot of confidence going into the into the North London derby. Everything was everyone was geared up to it. People were very negative. We had a few days of build up where people were talking about anti-Levy, Levy out, Enoch out, talking about hiring planes and all that malarkey, and a lot of people just it seemed so much negativity and people wanting to tear each other apart on Twitter. It was really, really poor. The whole debacle with the plane was embarrassing, and I know obviously as it got closer and people were getting a bit more antsy about it, I think there started to be you started to hear a little bit of a trickle that actually that something wasn't actually all it was cracked up to be with this plane, and
fucking hilarious.
James already found out that he's probably run off with the money, the kiddie. He's probably about 10 years old that started up the banner.
But he's done another.